Hello, welcome to my craft room. It's Rhoda. Today we're doing the flip through of the Haunted Mansion journal. It's the 3-inch spine journal filled full of all kinds of stuff. So first we're going to do the sneaky peek, and this is the antique phone digital by Wonders by Wink on Etsy. She is my design team mama. She's letting me design out of her kits, and I just love them. Okay, here it's kind of an easy stretch up to this bag here. This is just wooden numbers, or wooden letters, I'm sorry, that spell out phone. And I have phone definition down here below. You can see the pretty digital page over here. This is one of my tea dye pages, I think it was. And I may have added some of that gel icing dye to get that deep of a color. You can see a lot of her digitals right through here. This is another one of my dyed pages, and I did a stamp. It says hello. It looks like the phone line, doesn't it? And then here's one of her writing pages from the kit. And this is another one as well. And it's got that really pretty old phone on it. Here's the newspaper. And I guess I thought it went with the time period because it's 1919. So that's when all of these really old... but this is what we look at over in West Virginia. We just get fascinated with them. Like kills brother of his wife for burglar. That would catch my eye in no time flat. Here's a little tiny phone. I guess it was a sticker that I put on there. And then here is that scrapbook page that went so well with this. And this is her background page. Isn't that cool? That is my favorite phone. And of course you can see the rotary dial here with some more of the teal. And then this is the other side of that cookie bag. I made a wedge or a hinge so both of the bags were together. Because as you can see, the other part of the bag's up here with that gorgeous phone on it. And this was the other side. So it as well has just a simple tag inside. You could actually do two. This is like my paper bag journals, where it's actually two little troughs here. And you could do two if you wanted to. And then on the other side, you have this image. And of course, another definition. Rotary, turning or designed to turn, of or relating to axial rotation. You do not see that anymore. And then there's another one of her pages. Okay, we are going to stop right there. There's not really anything. Oh, there's my phone. There's my phone. Here's another one of her digitals. This starts my second signature in this book. Let me put this over here. And we're going to get the big mama out now. Let's see, which one do I have here? This is the Haunted Mansion. Now, gosh, I need to zoom out a little bit, don't I? It's bigger than I thought it was. I wanted to get you close enough that you can see everything. I'm still adjusting to this arm here that Paper Crafting with Miss Tommy sent me. All right, so what we have here is I wanted something to go with the idea of the doors and windows inside. And I didn't have really a haunted house image, so I thought, well, why don't I just make it a door? So I did. I used one of the stencils that looks like the cross in here. I've got a skull and crossbones there that you can see. This is a number from the Backdrops kit, and I've got a couple brads here. This is Curious Things. I got that last year for Halloween, and it has those hardware heads. And I rubbed a little bit of, it probably still come off of there, some of the distressed crayon over top of that. Here I've had these, and I didn't know what to do with them. They're a little handle, and I put two brads in there and put it on a piece and glued that down. Then I had the sticker from one of the Halloween sticker books, and I put two brads in that. And I've got, of course, my hitch fastener, my favorite thing, that I thought looked similar to a doorknob. But I put this on at the last minute, so, you know, it's got a handle and a doorknob. You can see over here, you can see the sticker hinges. And I decided to cover these areas here with this ripped lace. And I thought that looked the best of anything. I put this piece on the end to make it look like the end of a book, a spine of a book. And then this is the backdrop that's on the back with another strip of lace, trying to take your eye away from that gap there. Of course, I've got the ripped paper underneath of my edges here. And this is just like a little plastic cording. But look at it. It's fat. It's big. And I try not to ever stick too much of anything out of it. But, oh, the front. Let me finish the front. Now, I did this on the Celestial Journal. If you haven't seen that, I'll probably post that at the end so you can see that as well. But you just pop this out. This is just like a regular hole punch size hole. Works great with the hitch fastener. You open it up, and I decided to make this useful. I thought, somebody's not going to be able to write on that, even though it was a light background. So I made it into a tuck. So you can write on something and stick it in there. And I put a beautiful garden. And we have what looks like to be a garden over here with this backdrop. All of these that's on the cover are backdrops. I almost exhausted that kit as well. And here we have our ghost. That's why it has immortal beauty. It's still there, haunted for life. Yeah, and I showed you on the cover video. And then you can still write on it. It's got a little bump there, but that's about it. And this is like the library pocket that I made, where it's just a slit. And, and then you can write all over the back of this. You can tuck more papers in here, have secret journaling, that kind of thing. Okay, we're going to pop that back. Pop. And then we're going to open it up. And you can actually use your little door handle to open it up. And let me spread it out because it takes all of the room. All right, this is one of the tucks that I made. And I got the young magician down here because I thought she was like a magic person reading palms and playing games and that kind of thing. It was just kind of like a mixture of things that I had. Now this is actually from the newspaper over there in West Virginia where we go. I wrote, it was from the Wayne County News down here at the bottom and the date 1938. But here's me and Markham, and there was the Salmons, and that's why I got it. But I thought it really looked old the way it has, and I put from the sticker pack, Vanishing Visitors. So I'll put that up behind here. Oops, sorry. And tuck that in. And you can write on the back of this. That's some of that masking paper. And I thought I want to put as many places in here you can write as possible because it's more of a lookbook, but I want you to be able to use it as a journal as well. Okay, here's the door that opens. I put a skull on here, added that to it, and I made that a belly band, so you got a little place back here. I thought that would be an odd place to be able to write as well. So you can write on the back of there and tuck that back in here. And then we have the skeleton over here. It looks like a steampunk guy. And this was the one I kind of messed up on. This was the first one I did. And I glued it here with this going across, the Undertaker. And I glued the hat down. So I covered up my whole pocket that I had intended for you to be able to write on. So the Pose Haunted Mansion, I corrected it. I shortened the chain because it was just too long. And then I had this. This is a video as well where I show how to do this C-shaped paper towel. I think it's a paper towel. No, it's just a piece of paper. But it's similar to a paper towel roll. And you can write on there. So, got all kinds of little places you can write something or other. I've got some brads here. I try to put a lot of hardware in here if I could. Now, here's one that's got the glare coming off my light. This is, of course, another one of my pages that I made, and I have it on digital. I have bugs here in this pocket. I didn't want to cover him up, so I had to do something that was shallow. I put an extra skeleton head down here. There's the candles. I did some stencil work over here with that batty, or I forget what that one's called. And then I added two that were from the chipboard windows and stuff pack. Okay, then here's another one of my tucks I made. I put a big piece of that dyed cheesecloth underneath of it. It has nature on here. It has a kitty cat And I just used up a bunch of stuff from one of the packs. Now, this is one of the papers that I dyed. So I wanted them to be able to write on it. So it can be written on all over the back side. It's real pretty even on the back side. And then you just tuck it back under here, and those colors went so well together. Over here, this is one of those, I think it's like a greeting card or something. So I stamped on it. I have some toadstools and a frog and a tree and a crow. On this side, I did one of that shatter stamp, the big one. I put a spider web, the fragile texture of a spider's web. And I did this key. This is from one of my Stamperia kits. And I cut a slit in the keyhole and put the key through it. I thought that would work. It was kind of cool. And on this piece was that crazy, my vampire. Now, I have 2 tucks here with writing places. You can write on that, even though it's got some crazy stuff on it. And then you have a tuck here with that. You know, you want to make it interesting. If somebody chooses not to write in here, that's fine. They might want to put pictures on stuff. And if not, you've got interesting things to look at. Yeah, now here is, oh gosh, I've got a glare. Here is the vampire. And my story was, the vampire cannot see his image in the mirror, but he can see his bones. So I've got all of these different things down here. Look in your mirror for the other one. And I've got some stenciling in behind here and one of the salvage tags and all that kind of good stuff. So let me flip it there. And the other side, this was the double flip. I thought was kind of a different idea. So this is taking the flat part of the envelope, and I made it, you know, it was going to be hard to write on the back of that, although you can. So I put a little shallow pocket down here, and it's got a couple of things inside of it. Plus you can write back here. Here I used from one of the Stamperia packs with those keys and locks. They had these corners, and I thought, oh, that looks pretty. Let me put that down. There's another stenciling of the bats, mushroom with a stamp of hemlock. Those, I think they were acetate. Now here I made a little booklet. This was the page. I really didn't have anything else on except for the background and the chandelier and the chair rail. So I put the other part of the black stamp there in here just to give it something. And this is a little tiny booklet. It's very simple. It's one of the backdrops. And what I did is I scored it at 5. 4. It's scored at 4. So this side is 4. And then I've got this here that bends over and is actually a tuck, so you can put something in it. But you're able to write inside. So I thought that would be something different. And it's got witch hazel on the front and a door. Got to get as many doors in here as I can. That's the end of the first signature. Now I had all of these in the one ephemera pack that had the doors and windows in it and all that. And I thought, well, you know, let me just stick that down in here because he's kind of lost in the darkness, my guy in the dungeon. He's got a crow sitting there. His hands have the jump ring manacles on there. It's got dead quiet up here. Maybe that was one of his friends. I have over here, I've got the door to the dungeons swung shut. And this is one of my Stamperia little pieces that you can write on. And it tucks up underneath of this little collage that I made. It was one of the Tim Holtz little boys, and I put a skull on him with a hat. That's all I did to that, but I dressed it up. And I could not figure out what to do with this last piece of this lace. And I finally just put it down on here. And it made a nice little pocket. These are the pocket cards, I think they call those. There's 3 sizes. All right, when we made this that day, I did not think about putting this hand coming out of the wall in the arm, but I had stamped an extra one, so boom, there he is. He's from This guy, it's that hand right there. I had an extra one. And so he's adjusting the frame up there. You got your spider webs and spider, and you can see through the wall to the baseboards. This over here is one of the tucks that I made, and it's got this inside of it, just something pretty, and you can still write on it. And you can also put extra pages underneath with more writing. And of course, this has got the 13. Take the dead dry bones. I don't know why I put that, but I have a video showing how I made this. And over here is the library pocket. I've got a little bit of glare going on, so I apologize for that. Oh, well, thank you for everybody for coming to visit and see how this turned out. I really hope you get some ideas from this. I try to do a lot of different things. And as I say, you can probably check my previous videos where I did all of these individual pages. Now this Mom keeps giving me. She gets it in the mail, but it's all the different moons of the year. Farmer's Almanac. So I stuck that in here. And remember me telling you I was going to have something fun up here written down? You can write on that. And, no, you can't write that, but this says by the light of the moon. Now check this out. So, this is the library card for Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. Dracula took it out in 1729. Jack the Ripper in 1840. The Wolfman in 1890. Pennywise, I can't stand that clown, 1982. And The Mummy, I should have had him first. I messed up. It's a little out of sync. But he took it out in 300 BC. And even though it wasn't even written yet. And then Glinda the Good Witch took it out in 1939. Oh, at her debut. Oh, The Wizard of Oz. Then we have Hidden in the Shadows. His eyes are strange. So I made his eyes red. And then this was one of my challenges for Caroline's Craft Tree. So that's why I've got a typewriter over here. But his type of blood is A positive. So let me get him back down in here. And his extra little goodie here. And over here, this is similar to my Poe one. I went ahead and decorated this exactly like I did the Poe book, or the Poe journal. And what it is, it's got a couple pieces in here from my Dark Academia. I stamped a crow on there, or raven. And I did a candle on this one. And this tucks in here. And supposedly the story is that the raven flew in the window and he perched on like a shelf up above the doorway that had a bust of Athena. So that's why that's there. And then this sticker is supposed to be a column. Now inside, I went ahead and did 2 books. One for the Poe book or journal and one for this one. That's the raven. So I've got another one right here. And I aged this up. This is one of the papers from Kyung's kit. You open it and you have the whole story of the raven in here, or the poem. And then you got Poe back here with a little bit of stenciling and one of the candles. So that fits right down inside here. And I thought that was a neat little thing to be able to just take a book out of the library. That's basically what it is. Sorry, I had to take a drink. All right. Then I've got this, which has a couple of more bats on it. But these were strips that were cut off. And inside of here, I got this when I got that box from the girl that sent that, like a children's version of the Halloween journal. So I never knew what to do with this. And it's too wide to make a pocket. I couldn't do that. So I just tucked it in here. But these 3 pieces go together. I put a little hat on him. And from the sticker book. And it kind of just slides in here. Now, you can't really write on that, but you could slide another paper underneath of it to write on. But I like where you can see through it and see the brick behind. Over here is the other side of the hallway, I guess I called it. And I put a tuck down here that has the dead of night, an urn, and a skeleton. And you can see the bat and the spider. And it's just a little postcard thing. Just something simple and skinny. Because this thing is busting. Now I put that lace all around here. And I think if you watch the video, you notice I did not have enough to do this last piece. So this black one came in handy. It came in a lot of handy. All right. Here is my mummy room. All right. I have one of those acetate butterfly wings back here. Don't ask me why I added those. I just thought they look like eyes. I guess that's what linked it. But I have all them googly eyes I tried to use way back when I did the stair step fold. I have a mushroom down here like it's growing up at the foot of the stair, or the pyramid. But there is a sarcophagus pyramid over in the Poe cemetery. And when I do the Poe journal, I might have to see if I can show you a few photos of that. I don't know. I'll figure out if I can do that. But this is like the workers. And they're peeking out, and I got their little skeletal finger sticking out, and there's a scarab climbing up through there. It's got lost in the inky darkness by the door of a tomb, locked up tight. And I've got this down in here because this goes with the mad scientist. But you have, it's like the dollar bill I was saying in the video. But here is the sarcophagus. And you open it up, and you have your little mummy. And he's wrapped up in this little skinny washi tape that I had. And I thought, oh, that's perfect for his bandages. He's got a little bit of that colored cheesecloth behind him. And you can actually write on there if you wanted to. You don't have to. It's just a fun page. I try to make these things functional, but sometimes they just don't quite work out. But they work mostly out. Now down here is actually a pocket, but you don't have to use it as such because it is kind of tight. But it is there. And then we have this little piece that goes inside here that can be written on. And I thought it looked like a clipboard in a way. But I have little pieces of ephemera all around here. You've got table of a skeleton here. You got poison up there. I figured this guy was W.H. Gore, druggist and apothecary. Here's his prescription thing. There's something about pills. So I tried to do all of that, and I've got one of those windows in here with that great backdrop that I had. All right, here is the favorite. This is the stair step fold. It was made for greeting cards, but I made it here for this. And that's the way it works. It just pulls out, pops right out. It's so cool. And it folds right in. And it's got a little hole up here. That's how it actually works. So you can see that it's got a little bit of extra room there. And I was actually trying to tuck something in here, but it actually would have to be a wedge shape because of the shape of the stairs and how they're cut in there. But in the door, I didn't have anything that I had figured out for this door. So it has a raven up here, if you can see him. He's kind of glowing a little bit. But so I decided to take these strips from the sticker books and make them like shelves. So it's got Seek the Silence of the Night, Dark and Gloomy in here, Skull and Crossbones. So I just put a couple skulls. And it has like specimen figure 2. So that's all I did for that. Over here, I thought this was kind of neat. I wanted something irregular. I mean, I'm so into doing square boxes and rectangles and that kind of stuff. So I wanted something irregular. So I put this little square in here at an angle. And I cut this piece to go here. And I've got a lock and key on it. And I've just got this little piece of thin paper that actually tucks in there. So, you know, you can write on the back maybe. It's kind of a texture on it. Now here, I wanted a widow's walk is what they call it. And what the story is with a widow's walk, you usually see them in New England towns on the top of the houses. And a lot of times they were just like this. This is the widow's walk. But they would have a piece of a room or something underneath of it. And the ladies would have sent their men out to sea. and they're waiting for them to come home. And in a lot of cases, they did not come home because the sea had taken them. So that's why they call it a widow's walk, because most of the times the ladies were widows, but they would have it facing out to sea, and they would stare off, just watching day after day for their loved one to come home. I've got Voyage here from one of the new stamp sets I got. I have this piece. It's got some purple and stuff on it that you can write inside. And I have a Mariner's Compass from the same thing with Voyagers. And I've got a little piece of that cheesecloth under there. This was one of the backdrops, and I was saving it. And I thought, oh, that'll be perfect for my widow's walk. And it has, Here in the Darkened House of Weeping. And you can write on the back here. Now, this is my tower room. It has the 2 little wicked children in it. And I used one of my stamp sets where I've got the bats, and they had the clouds with it. I cut out some of my greenery. It had an owl and a bat. But what you do is you pull this, and the whole thing comes out. And that's one of those chipboard windows. So it's kind of decorated like that. And then you can write on the back. So when you go to put it back down in here, you have to kind of watch that little lower lip gets lifted. And then it goes down. There. Just like that. And then the next page is the cathedral. I know that some of the really, really old castles and stuff over in England would have a cathedral room. So that's what this is. And it has this one stuck out a little bit, but I made it into a pocket. So it's just got like just a kind of a plain, but it's got music like they would play the music in a cathedral. So that tucks down in here and kind of wiggles down. Okay. And then these were the chipboard windows that I purchased, and I used some of the foundry wax on them in one of my videos for this. I've got some of the ephemera, sorry, my mind is going. I've got some black texture paste back behind here. It was a really cool kind of design that transformed here. I've got the gravekeeper, bouquets, cut flowers, and funeral designs. A little bit of that lace that's rippied. I have a little hymnal here that you can write in, and that goes right back in here. And then it sticks out a little bit, which I'm good with. I like having irregularities, because, you know. All right, now this, I've got Casket Company. And you could write on this if you wanted, but I've got a whole page over here. But you could tuck things in here. What did I call this? I called it a dimensional pocket, I think. I don't know if anybody else has come up with it. I had thought of it way back when I went to North Carolina or South Carolina. And I thought, oh, well, that's kind of cool. Let's see what all I can do with that. So anyhow, that sits right down in there. That's one of the pages that I last dyed. Here's the other part of that irregular piece that I said I just had to get in there. This lady, she's the other side of the stair step fold. But she has a card that pulls out. It gets caught on something there, and I'm not sure what it is. But if I found out what it is, I could fix it. Let me see. Okay, it ended up being that saying, so I had to take that saying off of there because it kept rubbing against that seal right there. So you can write on the back of this. It has, goodness gracious. Okay, so see, now it works good, because every time I got up to here, it was catching. So I'll fix that up a little bit better when I get off of here. But it has Amelia Hardy Proprietus, a black cat, and I rolled the a strip of paper up so it looked like it was wallpaper rolling up, and I've got a little bit of cheesecloth or something, yeah, cheesecloth underneath of there. And then I try to do these lines like you could see the baseboards underneath of the wallpaper. So that was my idea there. I've got Danger, A Huge Black Cat, Night Falls, Peculiar Journey, all kinds of good stuff. Okay, here is the kitchen, the witch's kitchen. Now, this one was another one of my, what do you call it, the Carolyn's Craft Tree challenges, and I had 5 different things I had to work into here, and that's another video. But it says maybe habit forming, and she's got her cauldron here. She's a young witch. She's learning, and she wants to be a mermaid. So the smoke is billowing up and showing you the mermaid form. But it isn't on the time card. That was one of the prompts. Over here, we have her spell book with 13 on it. And then that will open up, and it has like a fall design on the back. You've got A Strange Thing Happened down inside. Here is the brick that I did with texture paste. And I put a coating of clear gesso over it because it had still kind of chipped off, but it's fixed now. I've got the bubble die cut under here. I've got some ephemera pieces all around. Here's the smoke that's billowing up. This is her shelf with all of her goodies on it. And then when you tuck it back, it tucks down here. And it's a little Velcro dot right here in that bubble. And it keeps everything shut. Then over here we have another Velcro dot that is holding the top and the bottom. And I covered it with some black, so it wasn't blaring white. But this was Annabelle Lee. So I made one. This is the very first piece I made for the Haunted Mansion Journal. So this is my nod to Silence of the Lambs. And here's Undertakers are up here, October 31st. I think this is the saying for Annabelle Lee, the song. They made it into a song. And then we have Toxique and Condemned out here. So, and then that's on one of those masking paper bases. Here, Tommy sent me this card and this background. I put them both together and I sewed around it and put a black cat on it, and in the shadow of the trees. Looks like an old wicked witch. I did a stamp for Red Cross here, and the pharmacist guy underneath. This is one of the papers I made a while back. I was just experimenting with some book page, and it's embossing, or Tim Holtz embossing glaze, and I put that on this book page and heated, embossed it, and kind of was playing around. Now this is, I put it in there at a cockeyed angle as well, like that other piece. Here is a index card. It's one of the larger index cards. I think I had to cut it off just a little bit. And I stamped this guy on there from one of my stamp kits. And I put a Halloween mask, and he says trick or treat. So he goes back down in here. And then we have a door. Of course, I needed a door. I'm not sure how far that goes in. I think that's it. And this is another one of those pocket cards. It just had some trees on it. That was about the only one that really fit. You could write on the back of there if you wanted to. It has Dreadfully Wicked. And then here was one of my tags that I made a while back that I said could also be used as a tuck. And I did that. Here's one of the sprayed, mica sprayed papers. I have 3 in each one of my journals here. So this is one for this one. I love this black. I got the idea from Creating with Jovi. And she said she used acrylic with coffee, acrylic black paint, and poured it in with her coffee water. And she dipped her pages in it and laid them out in the grass. Now, this is my arsenic and old lace. You know, I got to make a joke or something. But I had the lace up here too. There's some of that black lace here. I got druggist up here. This is like the family, a weird family. I don't know. They may be a druggist family. Now on the back side here, this made more sense in the Poe journal. But I had to do a brick stencil behind her because that's the way this was supposed to work. This was supposed to be bricks that were taken away and you could see the body underneath. And I added the skeleton skull at the last. And I said, she quickly digs with her skeleton fingers. She did not belong in this place. Oh gosh, weird stuff. All right. Now I used this chipboard piece as an actual belly band. It's a very thin holding belly band, but it's still there. You can actually write on that. But this was part of the portrait room. As you can see, I had a piece of paper that had all these different portraits on it. Here is the cemetery, which is actually the garden. It's the garden. So I had taken pictures of these at Walmart, and I showed it in this video. And I've got more of the cut vines and things. I have a piece of paper down here where it's a little bit of flowers. It says from regions beyond. I've got the crow and the spider. There's a spider web here. I know somebody mentioned that I should put a spider web in here, but I had one there and I really couldn't fit it in anywhere else. There was just so much going on. And plus I had the spider web over here. They didn't know about this one. So that's one of those acetate windows that came into this baseboard kit. And here is a little card to journal on. Plus, you can kind of see the cross in there. It's like it's what do you call that? Is it a mausoleum? Where you'd walk in and you'd see the bodies, or you have the graves above ground, that kind of thing. That's what that's supposed to be. Got a little bit of my cheesecloth down here. I love this background. I just loved how that turned out. Oh, I'm a green fan. Now over here, this doesn't have anything, but you can write on this page. Look how cool that turned out. I just love it. Mine don't look anything like hers though, but I'm still happy with my results. Now here is another one of the tucks I made. Double, double, toil and trouble. So I guess she's a little witch lady. Here's her spell book. I've got one of those windows behind her. Prescription druggist. She's got the 31st. And you can write on this bug paper. that might be one of her ingredients. Who knows? Here's the other side of that embossing glaze paper. And I thought, there's room to write on there. So I'll just leave it blank. Plus this. I love this crackle. This is from Kyung's kit. The Edward Allan Poe kit. So, and then there's Annabelle Lee. And then I've got a tuck here that I made. It's got spider, the fragile texture of a spider's web. She vanished into the cobwebs. And I think she's like a witch. Now this I made a while back. I loved it. It was one of my challenges again. I think for Caroline's Craft Tree. But I made, no. This was for Miss Paints-A-Lot's page. So anyhow, I really liked how it turned out. Plus you can write on the back of it. But that was some of the things from one of the sticker books, the Halloween sticker books. And, of course, a piece of the backdrop says funeral, undertakers, and embalmers. Right up my alley. But that tucks right in there. You, you shut your little book and you put it together. I really, really want to thank everybody for coming to visit. I know this took a little while, but it was a big book. And the Poe one will take just as long. So I really appreciate you're probably watching this while I'm over in West Virginia, hitting the trails, hitting the cemeteries. So this book works right in hand with where I'm at. So I want to thank everybody for coming to visit. I hope you're healthy and happy. And everybody has a great, great day. And I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.